things first, it's the DU General, Money P. I'ma put you up on the schedule, 6 to 9, 8 weekdays, not too unsettled you. Let's go. We got a lot to talk about, so much to pedal through. Unapologetically progressive. Tune to KBLA 1580 to get the mess. We're your ancestors' favorite radio station. First black on talk radio, left side of the nation. Me and Dominique DiPrima go way back. Smiley making sure the station stays black. Discussing all the issues in our community. We're hosted black and brown and others find unity. So let's talk about it. Maybe we can improve it. Digital underground, always down with the movement. So we tune in. The first things first with the queen of Black Talk Radio, Dominique DiPrima. Go sis. Go sis.
First things first.
KBLA Talk 1580. Good morning and God bless. I'm Dominique DiPrima. The show is called First Things First. My first thing today and every day, giving thanks, giving praises, and asking for blessings from the Most High, asking for the blessings of the ancestors and the elders and getting it going. TGIF. It's been a long, rainy week. We're meant to have a break today and through the weekend. It's funny. Billion from Africa Town was saying everybody's tracking the weather now. And I think that's right. It's like all of a sudden we are all weather experts. Yes, rain expected Tuesday, blah, blah, blah. It's because we're not used to it. We're not ready for it. And we're trying to make sure we have done everything we can to be secure, to be safe, and to stay dry. So I hope you're doing all of that. We're here for you and with you with the fellowship. Hour 1, we go local. Hour 2, national and international. Hour 3, we do a deep dive with a person of interest or a celebrity, accomplishment. Well, today is an extra busy day. Why not? It's Friday and there's so much going on in the world that we want to elevate, amplify, highlight. So now is the perfect time to call me because it's just me and you, 800-920-1580. Ed Sanders will be joining me in the second hour of the show to be my partner in politics, to be my cohort co-host that focused on national issues for a change of pace. And we are also going to be hearing from attorney Caree Harper and Barsha Knox, the mother of Charles Towns, who was killed by police in Altadena. There's some breaking news around this particular story that just left me stunned, and you're going to want to stay with me for that. Then in the final hour, the third hour of the show today, you'll meet a musician who has traveled the world, a jazz vocalist and pianist who is quite accomplished, and the music should put a smile on your face and a song in your heart on a Friday. His name is V. Shane Frederick, composer, pianist, professor, and vocalist. Yeah, we're going to get jazzy with it and get some good feel-good kind of vibe going because, well, we need it. The LA teachers strike, it's really the LA school worker strike. SEIU 99 has ended their 3-day strike. It's not that they reached an agreement, sadly. It's just that was what they planned. They planned to go out for 3 days. They were still in the middle of negotiating when they went on strike. That's unusual. Typically, unions will wait until they have come to the end of their rope in terms of negotiation and then go on strike. But in this case, because the workers, and I'm talking about SEIU workers right now, I'm talking about those bus drivers and stuff, said they were being harassed by the district illegally, that there were anti-union activities being brought upon them, and they wanted it to come to an end. The district, in some cases, has denied it, but in other cases has said they are investigating it. So this is right in the middle of the negotiation that this strike happened. The UTLA, the teachers union, going out in support of those custodians, bus drivers, cafeteria workers, and the like. So that in itself historic in terms of labor solidarity. Our mayor, Karen Bass, stepping into the middle to try to bring this across the finish line. Well, that negotiation is ongoing, and as the mayor said, these things don't happen in a day or an hour, but school is back in session until further notice, meaning that if negotiations fall apart, we could see an ongoing strike where there is no plan beginning, middle, and end. So I think if you are interested in seeing this come to an end, and I've seen some op-eds, some editorials speaking out against the strike. I get it. It is hard on low-income families. It's hard on the strikers. It's hard on everybody. So the thing to do, in my opinion, my mommy opinion, is call the district. Let Superintendent Carvalho know we don't have time for this messing around. We're heading toward the end of the year for some graduation. Our children have lost enough learning during the pandemic. They've lost enough of their school experience, their social emotional learning, and we need them in class. But we don't need them in class on the backs of custodians, on the backs of special ed assistants. We need them in school in a sustainable model that allows respect and decent wages for everybody who's providing for our children. Let's go to Carl, calling us from where Carl be at. Hi, Carl.
Hey, good morning. Happy Friday, Dominique. Enjoy your weekend.
You too.
Here we go. Hey, look, everybody needs a way to pay the rent. I mean, don't panic, but we all need a way to pay the rent. I mean, them strikers, I've been in a union before, and I've been out there on the strike picking the line years ago when I was at the refinery over in Vernon City. Oh, man, it was a mess. But I wasn't really one of the company employees. I was a temporary help in a union. And they really didn't want me coming up in there doing nothing. I mean, I was like, hey, wait a minute, hold on. I'm just getting paid every week, temporary work. You know what I'm saying? But they were serious about me not getting on that loading dock. They had a spill up there on the loading dock, and the guy that drives the forklift wouldn't let me use the forklift to clean nothing up and straighten it. He said, no, you got to straighten them pallets up and all that stuff up by hand. We can't let you use this forklift. I'm like, but it'd be easier if I could just scoop it up, sit it over there, because they wouldn't let me. They wasn't having it.
Right, but I mean, I suppose that's because they fought for the wages and conditions that the forklift drivers have. And if they let a guy who's not officially full-time in the union do it, that could open the door for union busting. That's what I'm guessing.
Yeah, well, anyway, I had to do it all by hand. I was like, oh, man, my back was hurting when I got home.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But
and you couldn't join the union as a full-time guy?
No, I was with a temporary company out in Southgate. And, the pay was so good, though. It was, and the overtime was so good, But if they had let me join their union, hey, yeah, everything would have been great. But it didn't happen like that.
Yeah, and that is one of the things that has to be addressed with many of these unions. Not SEIU, because SEIU is predominantly African American and Latino, which is why it's so crazy that they are not being properly paid. But many of our unions, especially the entertainment, below the line unions, are overwhelmingly white men, and they're not always opening the door to people of color. And to me, that's one of the big things we need to change, to take the union movement back up to where it belongs in American life, to where, there are more members of our society that are getting decent wages and have benefits and guarantees that all workers should have. It's going to require some reflection on the part of some of these big unions too, in terms of making way for us, for BIPOC people.
Well, at that time there was a few brothers on the loading dock at that time, and some brown.
Yeah,
but they just wouldn't have it. Yeah, they just wasn't having it with me using that forklift. It would that spill of, and when the truckers come in, they would give you $100 to straighten up their load.
Hey, hold the line. They got to hold the line, Carl. They got to hold the line. You might be a scab. Hold that thought. Hold the line. It's KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
Personal Law Office is your go-to attorney for criminal cases. That's why we support the right to a fair trial for Los Angeles Council Member Mark Ridley Thomas. Call me at 424-261-2075 if you're facing any criminal offenses.
Congratulations to Revolution Company for being this week's winner of KBLA's Office of the Week. Log on to KBLA1580.com to enter your office to win lunch for 10, delivered by John O'Groats Family Restaurant.
Periods don't care what you're doing, but your pads should. Get Always Triple Protection System in Always Day and Night Pads. Always Day Pads protect when active by wicking away gushes 2 times faster than leading store brands and giving us up to 100% leak-free and odor-free comfort. When we size up our pad at night, we get the same triple protection, plus up to 75% more coverage in the back for when we're laying down. No matter what, Always has you covered, day and night.
Wouldn't you say it's time for a beauty refresh? Lucky for you, Ulta Beauty's 21 Days of Beauty is happening now. So treat yourself with up to 50% off bestsellers like Benefit Cosmetics and MAC Cosmetics. And say hello to new product launches from Fenty Beauty by Rihanna, Tarte Cosmetics, and so many more. That new you feeling is waiting at Ulta Beauty. But hurry! Beauty's biggest event ends April 1st. Shop in-store, online, or try curbside pickup today. Ulta Beauty. The possibilities are beautiful.
KBLA 1580 Talk Radio congratulates Sal's Gumbo Shack for this Women's History Month. Surviving the pandemic and social unrest, Sal's Gumbo Shack continued to hold the community up with great food to all that came through the doors. Are you ready for the best gumbo in town? The best po' boy you've had? Sal's Gumbo Shack. We bring the bayou to you with real authentic soul food. Mama and Granny's recipes made with real butter, real love, real everything. Also introducing a healthy option from our jackfruit selection. And there's more. Mouth-watering desserts, peach cobbler, banana pudding, red and blue velvet cake, 7-Up pound cake, homemade with lots of love. To order, call 562-423-2113. That's 562-423-2113. Sal's is also providing training and employment to those serious about a career in the food industry and the opportunity to perhaps own your own Sal's Gumbo Shack one day. Visit salsgumboshack.com or stop by either locations, Bixby Knolls or Long Beach Boulevard. Sal's Gumbo Shack.
Your ancestors' favorite radio station, and your favorite morning show host. Let's get back to Dominique DiPrima right now.
Didn't mean to cut you off, Carl, but the clock rules everything in radio and and TV and probably in most of our lives if we were paying more attention. Good morning. Happy Friday.
Okay. I'll be brief. Hey, look, the House
Now, I wasn't
Authority,
rushing
Dominique,
you, but, we just had to go for a second. Yeah.
Yeah, I understand. Hey, the Housing Authority has a complex cyber attack, and they just now warning people that people's information was compromised. Their Social Security, their birth date, their California ID, and they're telling everybody just sorry that it happened. I mean, what can the mayor do if Miss Bass, Mayor Bass is listening? Maybe she can go over and talk to the Housing Authority.
Okay, but that's county. Like, I think it's an emergency, but I feel like at this point we just want Karen Bass, Mayor Karen Bass, to be like, Spider-Man. That's HACLA is county, right?
Doesn't she have a round table? No, this cyber breach with Housing Authority.
Oh, the city housing. Okay, I got you. Okay, city
yeah.
of, yeah. Well, then she probably will step in. I mean, but the other question, Carl, is what hasn't been breached at this point? I mean, I hate to sound crazy. I just got one of those emails from the folks that provide my insurance. Oh, you've been hacked. Home Depot, Target, and the schools, the LAUSD. It's like, we're all standing naked in the middle of La Brea at this point.
Wow, well, I'm hoping they won't mess with my little pennies that I got in the bank. I'll let you go with this one, Dominique. Hey, did you see the lady on TV today that got bit by the dog? The German Shepherd bit her up when she got out the car. And
I did not. I can say I don't watch enough TV. I get most of my news from reading, but I didn't see it. Yeah. But that sounds terrible.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I heard the commercial came on. Why are we still going through police brutality when you were speaking on the commercial earlier? And the news media, people that was talking about the news about it, they couldn't stop laughing. They had to go into a commercial because it was so funny. It wasn't funny, but, the dog pulled her pants down and ran over and bit her right on the butt cheeks, man, locked onto her butt cheeks.
Yeah, that's not funny to me. I'm sorry. I mean, the pulling pants down might be cute, but that's a dog bite that can be very, very, very dangerous.
My thing is she had surrendered. She had surrendered, and the CHP just allowed the German Shepherd to run up and bite her right on the buttocks.
Is she black?
That was terrible. Yeah, she was a black girl,
Okay.
black lady.
Well, say no more. Yeah.
Terrible.
Say no more.
Talk to you later, Dominique.
All right,
Enjoy
Carl.
your weekend.
Yeah, thanks for bringing that terrible thing to my attention. Thing is, if she had not been black, they would not have just allowed the dog to continue to attack her because they would look at her as a human being. And, you know, that's what we are constantly objecting to. And I don't want to sound like, I'm just repeating myself. However, history is repeating itself. And the only way we're going to stop it is by pointing it out and shutting it the heck down. But if you're wondering, yes, your child may go to school today. Rhonda from Inglewood, it's all about you. Inglewood. What's going on, Rhonda?
Inglewood. Good morning, Dominique. I just want to give a shout out to my best friend who was on the line with her aides and, the people that, need the support. And I just wanted to say the people who are calling in and complaining kids need to be in school, she has a child in elementary. Yes, she's well paid, but she supports it. These people are making sacrifices also. They don't think like the cafeteria workers or the bus drivers. They're all making sacrifices. They're all bringing their children or, scattering to see where they can put them. So I get both sides, but it's not like, they should call that superintendent who's making, $400,000 more than double the president of the United States. So I just want to say that, because it's teachers out there and they're struggling or, scattering to get their kids elsewhere also. So those same people who are talking about, kids need to be in school and, with the same people that are, out there are in the same struggle, So I just want to say that.
I think it's a good point, too, especially for those Local 99 workers who are going for 3 days with no pay, right? They're not going to get paid for driving the bus or working in the cafeteria because they're on the picket line. That's a chunk of their change for the month, too. And, and a lot of them do also have children in public school. So it's a great point, Rhonda.
Okay, you have a good day. God bless.
You too. Rhonda came to say one thing. She had one job, and she has accomplished her mission. Let's go to Dee from Long Beach. Dee, good morning. You
Good
up?
morning, Dominique.
You up?
I got a newspaper yesterday from Southern California Teamster, and I think it's interesting because you used the word scab. I haven't heard that in decades.
That means someone who, you know what it means, but for those who don't,
somebody
who crosses a picket line and provides work or service in defiance of a strike, someone who doesn't honor the striking workers.
As you know, back in the day, we honored picket lines, but that was back in the 70s.
I wasn't I wasn't operational as an activist in the 70s, and I maybe because I'm from an activist family, but I honor picket lines.
Yeah,
I think a lot of us still do. I think a lot of us still honor picket lines, Dee.
Really?
Yeah.
I see people protesting, but I don't see people stopping to say we support you or anything like that.
Well, I think we've seen people honking their horns, and you've got the whole United Teachers of Los Angeles walking out in solidarity with the custodians and cafeteria workers. I think there are a lot of folks, but not just people in other unions. Of course, people in other unions are going to honor picket lines, but I think there's lots of folks in the public. There's many teenagers that are either picketing, striking, or taking other actions in support of the workers of SEIU.
Yeah, I guess I'm just not seeing it. You remember back in the day when it took a month to get over the flu? To segue into Big Pharma, we now have over-the-counter measures for getting people back to work earlier, and they don't necessarily heal.
Yeah, well, it never took me a month to get over the flu, but that's probably because I'm a health enthusiast, right? I take herbs and I work out and I eat lots of vegetables and take vitamins. But I understand what you're saying. It's like the position of the pharmaceuticals is just to make you a cog in the wheel, a factory worker. It's really not to get you healed.
And the only reason I bring that up is because Tavares had a song that only takes a minute. And now in the unemployment line, you spend your time wasting time or something like that. But, that's just a walk down memory lane.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you, Dee. And it's a great point. We saw that with the COVID protocols. At first they said, you have to stay out of work for whatever it was, like 10 days or 3 weeks and be isolated. And then all of a sudden the corporations didn't have workers, and all of a sudden it's like, you can go back to work, or if you're not showing symptoms or you don't test positive, just go on back to work. It's the priority is the profit, not the people. We've got news, traffic, and sports, and then we'll be hearing from civil rights attorney Caree Harper with some breaking news on KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
Good morning, and thank you for sharing a part of your Friday morning with us here on the Black Information Network. In California, Los Angeles Unified School District students and employees will return to campuses today after a 3-day strike. There's still no deal between the district and the unions representing service employees and teachers. LA Mayor African-American Karen Bass has been mediating the negotiations since Wednesday. The Service Employees International Union Local 99 called for the strike in protest of low wages. The Federal Trade Commission is proposing new regulations to make it easier for consumers to cancel free trials and subscriptions. The FTC said on Thursday that its click-to-cancel proposal would require sellers to make canceling an enrollment more straightforward. And that's the latest. I'm Mike Moore from your 24/7 news source, the Black Information Network and BINnews.com.
If cold candidate calls aren't turning into hot hiring leads, then you need Indeed. Because Indeed's powerful hiring platform makes it easy to attract, screen, and interview candidates all from one place. Find your next great hire visiting Indeed.com/credit.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
UCLA loses by 3 last night to Gonzaga in the West Regional semifinals of the NCAA tournament. The Bruins went 11 minutes in the second half without a basket. Julian Strother hit a deep three-pointer with 6 seconds left to close out the Bruins. The Clippers beat Oklahoma City by 22, 32 points for Kawhi Leonard. Russell Westbrook dropped 24 points and 7 assists. The Lakers are pointing to the final week of the regular season for LeBron James to return. LeBron has been out since February 26 with a tendon injury in his right foot. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. This sports report was brought to you by Original Taco Pete.
It's Aaron from Original Taco Pete. Let us cater your March Madness munchies. Order with us at Original Taco Pete on Grubhub, Uber Eats, DoorDash, or stop into our Slauson and Crenshaw location. We'll feed you soon.
I'm young, gifted, and black. KBLA Talk 1580, we do more than just talk.
Hey there, I'm Jared Hill, president of the National Association of Black Journalists of Los Angeles, and I just want to say thank you for the benevolent $10,000 donation and scholarships for the next generation of black journalists.
And I'm Haywood Galbraith, photojournalist and founder of the Minority Photojournalism Institute. Thanks, KBLA, for your generous $10,000 scholarship gift to help us train the next generation of black photojournalists.
Congratulations to all the students who will benefit from the scholarship dollars raised at our Black History Month luncheon honoring black legends in LA media. When we come forward at KBLA Talk 1580, we're bringing everybody with us. Everybody with us. Everybody with us.
Thanks to our new sponsor, Lendistry. Lendistry is a national black-led small business lender that is headquartered in Los Angeles. Lendistry helps small business owners access the affordable capital needed to grow. Visit Lendistry, LENDISTRY.com/KBLA today.
California is a great place to live and work, but those aren't easy things to do for students also going to college. That's why the state created the Californians for All College Corps, a way for students to build skills and help others others while earning up to $10,000 for school. Commit to serve your community and we'll help you pay for college. Spots will fill up fast, so learn more and apply today at www.cacollegecorps.com. That's www.cacollegecorps.com. California is a great place to live and work, but those aren't easy things to do for students also going to college. That's why the state created the Californians for All College Corps, a way for students to build skills and help others while earning up to $10,000 for school. Commit to serve your community and we'll help you pay for college. Spots will fill up fast, so learn more and apply today at www.cacollegecorps.com. That's www.cacollegecorps.com.
The double steak grilled cheese burrito is back at Taco Bell. And in case you didn't know, it's stacked. Yeah, packed inside it is a double serving of premium grilled marinated steak and a melty 3-cheese layer. Then on top of that, it has a layer of grilled bubbly cheese on the outside. Yeah, the outside. Why? Probably because it refuses to be caged in by the confines of its tortilla walls. Or maybe just to add more cheesy flavor.
Double steak grilled cheese burrito. Get one today, only at Taco Bell. At participating U.S. Taco Bell locations for a limited time only while supplies last. Double steak claim as compared to steak quesadilla. Contact store for hours and participation which varies.
Thanks for waking up with Dominique DiPrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
I do appreciate you being here, and we do have some breaking news this morning that you are going to want to stick around for. We're being joined now by civil rights attorney Caree Harper. She is one of our leading civil rights attorneys here on the West Coast and really nationwide. Before she became an attorney, she was one of the most decorated police officers in the East Bay area, achieving a Marksman Medal for shooting skills and a life-saving medal for diving into a canal of water, pulling out an unconscious, submerged driver, and then performing CPR until the victim was airlifted to safety. She got injured in the line of duty. She was retrained to be a paralegal, worked for law firms, and then went on to become a civil rights attorney. And you know her from the case of Marlene Pinnock, the unhoused woman who was severely beaten by California Highway Patrol. You know her from the case of Kendrick McDade in Pasadena, a young boy who was killed by Pasadena police. And many other cases. In 2014, she settled that wrongful death case involving McDade. And later the same year, she got that $1.5 million settlement for Marlene Pinnock. Attorney Caree Harper, good morning.
Good morning, Dominique. How are you?
Good. I feel like I should have said also sometime radio producer who helps us put together profiles of judges so you know who to vote for in the elections.
Most important, the most important position in the elections. I always say that, but some folks might not agree with me.
Well, but whether we agree or not, it's a terrible feeling to be filling out your ballot and then get the deer in the headlights look when you come to the section about the judges. So over the years, you've helped me at more than one radio station to get the judges in and have them talk to the people. And I really appreciate it. And one of the judges that we've talked to over the years, or judicial candidates, actually was elected, Miss Holly Hancock. So that was, I consider that a win for an informed electorate, and you played a big role in that.
I did. I was happy to assist Ms. Hancock. She made history by being the first LA public defender to be elected as opposed to being appointed by the governor. Her, along with Patrick Hare, he was also a public defender that was a fan favorite, and he was elected. So it's great to have change in the county.
Yeah. And you you keep working, you keep taking on cases. I know you do other kinds of law, you do criminal law and other kinds of law, but you keep taking on these high-profile cases of police abuse and officer-involved killings. And before we get to the breaking news, the story we're going to talk about today, you were the counsel for a teenager who was choked in Rialto. That was another viral video, right? And and that case is now completed. It's settled.
It is. it happened in Rialto, where this youth was riding a mini bike, as a lot of folks in that area do. These kids with these homemade bikes, basically sitting on a battery, flying through the neighborhood, and an officer ordered her off. She wasn't as respectful to him as he thought she should be, and being a teenager and him not feeling the love, he pretty much threw her down on the ground, and you could see his hand around her neck. Fortunately for the teen, she didn't suffer any jugular injuries or any physical substantial injuries, but the family was grateful to get a speedy 1.5 recovery on that recently.
Congratulations to you, Attorney Harper. I mean, one thing about we know for sure is that when folks come to you, they usually win, and they usually win pretty quick.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's what I've observed over many years. I mean, you get the job done. I don't know. Maybe it's because of your experience as an officer. You know what's reasonable, what's not. Maybe it's because you don't black down, like we like to say on this radio station. I don't know what it is, but you seem to get swift and good resolutions, as good as it can be when you've lost a loved one or been beaten up.
Yeah, and you know what, Dominique, I haven't said this before publicly, but I know what it feels like to be a wrongfully accused police officer, because me, along with 5 other officers, were sued a long time ago for excessive force. I had to testify. We won. We were vindicated. I didn't feel I didn't do anything wrong. But I don't take cases that the 21-year-old Officer Harper would not have done at the scene. So I choose the cases very seriously, and I actually believe what I'm saying that's coming out of my mouth. Sometimes if you're a criminal defense attorney, which you may not want to hear the story of your client because you might want them just to not talk, to be honest with you. But in the civil rights realm, I believe everything that's coming out of my mouth.
Mm. So, Attorney Harper, let's talk about the case of Charles Towns. There's been a lot of, I guess I'm going to say, like misinformation or confusion or weird reporting around this story. So let's go to the basics of what happened with Mr. Towns, and then we'll get to this latest development. It's not latest for you. You've been knowing about it but for those of us in the public, this is breaking news.
Well, the background on Mr. Towns' case is he was dealing with a mental unavailability on the day he was contacted by the Sheriff's Department. Clearly, people don't go around with scissors, some colorful school scissors, trying to jab people, and he should have been contacted. He should have been contacted, detained, arrested because of the felonious activity. Now, what happens after the officers arrive is very strange. I've never seen it. You can see it on some of the video on my law office Facebook page, where they literally see him. They stay in their patrol car. They watch him walk blocks, and they don't exit their cars to contact or stop him when he's not around anybody. So instead of contacting him in an area where there aren't any people or pedestrians, they wait till he gets on a residential street in Altadena, on El Sereno and Woodbury, and he approaches an elderly couple. Now, some things we don't know because the primary shooting officer does not activate his body-worn camera. Another thing we can circle back to, where they shouldn't have the ability to control when they turn their cameras on. But his camera wasn't activated. We do know that there's an elderly lady that suffers a cut that required some stitches. She did go to the hospital, but she walked away from the incident. She didn't suffer major injury. And it wasn't until after this happened, the officers shot Mr. Towns. They did not kill him, though. He falls to the ground, and he is now disarmed. And he's plainly disarmed by other body-worn cameras. After he's shot once by a primary the male officer, we believe he's shot through a crossfire by a female officer, shooting into the line of fire of her other officers, and the bullet enters Mr. Towns and exits his groin. So he's being told by one male, don't move, while he's simultaneously being shot by a female, causing him to move. I don't know a male that's not going to move when he's suffered a bullet wound to his groin. Then, after he's trying to literally dodge bullets, there's a pause in the shooting. Dominique, his felony activity has stopped. It is now their job to safely take him into custody.
Right.
They do not do that. Instead of taking him into custody, they continue shooting him. He is on the ground and they are shooting him. There's a pause. They continue shooting him until he stops moving. This is an execution. This is not just excessive force. This is a thought-out execution. There's case law that says that we shouldn't judge officers based on 20/20 hindsight. Don't Monday morning quarterback if you're not there. We believe what they did takes them out of the protection of this case law because they paused during their shooting. They paused and they thought, we're not taking him to jail today. We're taking him to the morgue.
Wow. Talking with attorney Caree Harper, she's been retained by the children of Charles Towns. And we're going to hear more about this story because there's more to it. If you thought you knew the whole story, I'm pretty sure you don't. That's coming up exclusively on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580 is an intervention. When we come forward, includes you. KBLA Talk 1580, turning pain into power.
Is child support taking your money? Did you know that states receive $500 million a year in incentives to put people on child support and find them guilty in those same state hearings? Log on to ChildSupportIsFraud.com for more information.
Law Office of J. Blacknell understands the stress and anxiety that comes with legal issues. That's why we support the right to a fair trial for Los Angeles Councilmember Mark Willie Thomas. Do you have a criminal or civil rights matter? If so, please give us a call at 310-469-9117.
I can't believe tax season is here already. Look at all this info I have to enter.
Phil's small accounting firm is growing in numbers.
Why didn't I take that typing class in high school?
A data entry specialist could really help him in a crunch.
I got blisters on my fingers.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Cookie wants to be a professional wrestler. I'm Cookie Serratos and I'm 11 years old. She also wants to win all the medals. That's why Cookie and her family make every day count, squeezing out her best with Go-Go Squeeze.
Okay, Cookie, let's break for a Go-Go Squeeze.
Go-Go Squeeze Fruit on the Go pouches are a nutritious snack made from 100% fruit with no sugar added.
Go, Cookie!
Because when you nurture your kids, you squeeze out the best in them. Squeeze out the best with Go-Go Squeeze. Not a low-calorie food. Products range from 11 to 13 grams of sugar and 60 to 70 calories per serving.
Lowe's MVP's bonus days are back for pros. Right now, buy a DeWalt 20-volt Max Power Stack Battery 2-pack at $199 and get a select DeWalt Bear tool free. Plus, earn 3 times the bonus points on all Metabo HPT tools and products. Shop even more savings and bonus points offers during MVP's bonus days at Lowe's. Bonus points calculated before taxes and fees after applicable discounts, if any. Valid 3/20 through 3/31. Subject to change. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. Discount taken at time of purchase. Visit Lowes.com/MVP's bonus points for details.
Heard any other talk radio lately that sounds anything like this? We didn't think so. You're listening to Unapologetically Progressive KBLA Talk 1580.
So we're talking with attorney Caree Harper. During the break, I was looking at the slowed down video. Again, I try not to look at these videos too often because it's just hard on my mental health. But it's pretty Although you say he turned off, one of the deputies turned off the body cam. The camera that we do have is pretty terrible.
It is. It hurt me to my spirit, Dominic. And you know what I did when I was contacted by the mom about this case? We immediately did an independent autopsy because, quite frankly, the coroner's office only takes the perspective of the officer and puts everything in the light most favorable to the officer who's actually done the killing, as opposed to any witness statements or things like that. They're not even interested in the body-worn camera. In the Anthony McClain case, I tried to get them to watch the video and to amend their official report. They refused to do that.
Wow.
But it is trouble. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
They don't want to hear from independent witnesses. They won't listen. I've gone up to their captain. I've even considered listing them as a. You can't fight everybody all the time, though. We can only. I mean.
Yeah.
You know. It's a troubling situation. We got an independent autopsy. We had the slowed down version completed. We had video enhancements. We did audio enhancements. We contacted witnesses, and this was before doing any press conference. Because of the nature of the allegation that he was in the active commission of a felony, we wanted to do our due diligence first. And I don't say the word execution lightly, but I'm confident and comfortable with the word execution. There is a female officer. If you look, after she shoots more bullets into him when he's down, even the male officer had to push her gun down. She would literally still be out there now shooting if someone had not stopped her. Then she walks away with her gun still unholstered. She walks away, gun in hand, and goes code 4. That means situation stable. That's a police code. That means situation stable because she knows she's completed the act of killing him.
Yeah, I mean, she's sure she's killed him, which it tells you the level of.
Sure.
I mean, yeah, it's a lot. So when you say contacted by the mom, you're talking about the mom, his children's mom?
Right. One of the children is under 18, so they can't sue for themselves, so they have to have a guardian sue for them. So the mom is representing him in the lawsuit. And then the older son, Mr. Towns, is my other client. So, yes, I was contacted by her about the situation, and it's very troubling, and she's on the line with us as well.
Yeah.
And what happened to her, and she's a little shy, but so many times, and I'll let you ask her questions if you want, or I'll tell you what happened, and then you can ask.
Yeah, well, let's do a little bit of that. We're talking about Miss Barsha Knox, who's joining us. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for coming on with us. I know it's a lot being on the radio and all of that. When we come forward, we are going to have Attorney Harper give us a little description of what happened to you. And then, if you don't mind, I'll ask you some questions about it just to make sure that our KBLA delegation, that Los Angeles has a clear idea. Because to me, I don't know that I've ever heard anything quite like that, like this, even in one of these egregious cases. Caree Harper, Attorney Caree Harper, and Ms. Barsha Knox are with us on KBLA Talk 1580.
A safe place to go loud. A great place for progressive politics. KBLA Talk 1580.
Some people won't give you the real talk on drugs, but it's time we know the facts. Fentanyl is killing people. It's a powerful opioid, often made illegally and commonly mixed with illicit drugs. It can even be pressed into counterfeit pills that resemble prescription medications. Just 2 milligrams, about the size of a few grains of sand, could potentially be lethal. This isn't an ad to scare you, but it is an ad to make you think twice. Get the facts. Go to realdealonfentanyl.com. This message is brought to you by the Ad Council.
Mom's early Alzheimer's diagnosis was hard to take. And when I left the oven on, we decided together
that it was time to see a doctor and make a plan.
Early detection gave us more time to seek out information and support as a family.
If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together. For more information, visit alz.org/time to talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
This is KBLA Talk 1580, where hate loses and love wins.
Being joined by Ms. Attorney Caree Harper and Ms. Barsha Knox. So there's more to this story, and you offered to give us a little encapsulation of what happened, not just to Charles Towns, which you've described, and there's video that folks can watch on your firm's page, on Facebook, on YouTube, but what happened to Ms. Knox?
Yes, Dominique, if you live in the city that you're suing, it's risky, especially if the police know where you live. And they do in this case. Now, while this did not occur in Altadena, we know Pasadena and Altadena are pretty symbiotic. I mean, the family was having feelings after this. The young boys were on their street that they live in, and they were emotional when they're contacted by Pasadena PD, who they don't ask many questions. They just come over, you see black men on the corner, and somewhere, I don't know where they get the idea that all black men need to just submit to assume the position without question. They were approached. The children of Mr. Towns were approached. The mother was there, and one of the Pasadena PD officers shoves the boy's face into the ground for pretty much no reason. Miss Towns objected, which as a mother anyone would do. They handcuffed her, and there was a black female Pasadena officer on scene. This black female officer intervened, which she has a duty to do when she witnesses excessive force on a civilian by an officer. This white male Pasadena officer shoves this black female officer and almost makes her fall down. And he says, "Keep your effing hands off me," or words to that effect. Now, we believe this is all captured on body cam footage, and today we will be making a filing regarding this. But we have an officer doing her job. We have another officer battering her on duty, and we hope she has a great employment lawyer. And with things like this, when you have someone who's tantamount to a whistleblower at the police department, we pray, we're going to have to pray for her that her cover doesn't start arriving slower, her cover units don't start arriving slower, and that she's not physically in danger herself. So if you want to ask Ms. Knox something about that,
yes, so
we can't believe.
Go ahead.
And things were said. The kids were saying that after the cops yanked them up and was twisting their arm up in the air and shoving their faces in the ground, one of the young men said, "Are you going to kill me like you killed my dad?" Pasadena PD wasn't the shooting officers, but of course we know he meant law enforcement in general, and his heart was broken, and he was having feelings, and unfortunately they were multiplied by this activity.
Yeah, it is heartbreaking. I mean, the whole situation is heartbreaking to me, and I have never met any of these folks. So, Ms. Knox, tell me how this, scene unfolded from your perspective. I mean, obviously, your children's father has been killed by police. What happens this day? Did you witness the whole thing with your kids?
Yes, I was outside with them.
And they were just out. They were out hanging out, playing outside, or what was going on?
No, the brothers was out. They were having a moment, a moment just because it's been hard ever since Charlie has passed for his boys. So they were outside and they were having a moment, just, pretty much brothers. My younger son, ever since Charlie has been killed, my older son, he has a problem when he leaves out. It's like he doesn't want him to leave. So it was an argument between them. And they were, a little emotional. It's been up and down. So amongst them arguing and stuff, a first officer pulls up and he gets out and he's, what's going on, So my son was like, we don't need no officers here. We're fine. It was just me and my brother arguing. I was trying to explain to the officer. But my younger son, he was, crying. He was, just very emotional. So another officer runs from down the street. And when he comes, he just comes up. He immediately just starts grabbing my older son, because I was trying to calm the younger one down, and get him, to stop, flaring. And so the officer, he was like, the first officer that had arrived, he was just, listening. When the other one had came and he ran up, all I know is when he ran up and he appears, he grabs my oldest son. And he's like, he didn't ask no questions. He just comes, he's like, turn around, just turn around. So my son is like, what did I do? And he grabs him, he turns him around, and it's just like a wall with that for plants with dirt and stuff in it, pushing him down. And it's like his face is going dirt. So my son is like, wait a minute, hold on. And then my other son would start screaming like, you're going to kill us like you killed our dad? So it starts doing both of that.
I'm sorry, I'm going to have to, we're going to have to continue this, this recount of what happened after news, traffic, and sports on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
Service employees and teachers, LA Mayor African-American Karen Bass has been mediating the negotiations since